morning, everyone. It is a Friday here and I'm not feeling totally put together, but today I wanted to make a Thanksgiving pie with you all. I don't necessarily love pumpkin and pecan and all of that. I think a piece is nice, but my favorite pie after a heavy Thanksgiving meal is a chocolate pie. This is definitely still very decadent, but it's cold. I guess pumpkin pie is kind of cold too. But this feels lighter. This is just our favorite family Thanksgiving pie. So, and I'm coming to you at like 8 a.m. because if I don't mix this up, I won't be able to take it with us where we're going this afternoon. So let's get it mixed up.
So I actually started this recipe the night before because I knew that this step called for the blender, or the food processor rather, and I knew I was gonna make it in the morning. I thought I was gonna make it much earlier than I did, and I didn't want to wake my kids up the next day. So I made the crust the night before, and it's actually a really easy process. You just count out your Oreos and you crumble them up and put them in the food processor. You do not have to scrape out the filling, which I actually forgot at the very beginning, and I started scraping out the filling and I realized I don't have to do any of that. And so you just break them up and put them right on in the food processor. Then you just process it until it's fine. You definitely do not want any chunks or it'll be hard to shape your crust later. And then you pour in your butter once your Oreos are down to crumbs. Then you just pour it into your pie dish and you press it down around the bottom and the sides. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I definitely don't have a completely clean lip on mine when I'm finished, and it just doesn't really matter. This pie comes out of the plate so easily, and it's just a really forgiving pie. Now we are back up to the next day, and I've got my half and half in this pot, and I'm going to add some of the sugar. Part of it gets added at this step, and part of it gets added when you temper your eggs before adding them into the half and half. I like to measure out all of my sugar, and then I just take what I need out of it for the first step. So I've added salt, and I'm whisking it up, and then once it's simmering, you can start doing your tempered eggs. So here I have my egg yolks. I'm adding some cornstarch. I should have added my sugar here, but I completely forgot about it. So I added at the end. And in total, you want to add about a cup of the simmering half and half. And I always start with just a 1/4 cup. And I stir that in really good. I just don't want to add too much right away and scramble my eggs. So I go back for a second and then eventually a 1/3 and a 1/4 cup of half and half. Okay, now we are in the home stretch and we get to add all of the things that make this so yummy. So we're going to stir the eggs back in and just stir until it starts to thicken. Maybe it's at a light trace, and then you add all of the things in. So I'm going to add my butter, and then I'm also going to add bittersweet and semi-sweet chocolate. Now for both of these, I just use chocolate chips that I get from Azure Standard. I don't buy the baking bars. They're way too expensive, and I can buy this stuff in bulk, and why not? It works great. So in goes the bittersweet, and then the semi-sweet, and then I'm gonna eyeball some vanilla. At this step, I'm also going to add in the sugar that I forgot and just say a prayer that my custard is not crunchy because we use very coarse sugar. And then after it is all incorporated, I do like to take a spatula and scrape all around the sides and the bottom. Make sure I've gotten all the chocolate and that there's just no chunks. And then you just pour it into the pan and you smooth the top down. Now, honestly, you don't have to be very finicky with this step because you're gonna cover it with whipped cream later. So I do smooth the top, but it just does not have to look perfect. Then before you put it in the fridge, I like to put a little bit of plastic wrap over the top. Listen, I know this is not the healthiest thing. I have the cleanest plastic wrap you can find, but it is what it is, and I only make this a couple times a year, so it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Then you stick it into the fridge until it is set. Lastly, you just make your whipped cream with some heavy cream, sugar, and vanilla. And you don't want to put this on there too early because sometimes whipped cream can be a little melty, even if it's in the fridge. So get that ready close to when you're ready to serve it. And then you can just peel the plastic right off the top of the pie. That should not even be in the same sentence, but like I said, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna put the whipped cream on top and just smooth it around and make it look pretty. And this is where you can be really creative. I was not that creative today. I only had a handful of Oreos left in the package, and this is just for something casual tonight, so no big deal. And I just stuck my Oreos on here. Thank you for joining. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving.